Support WrestleTalk!
Happy Saturday Day, everyone. It's that time of the week again. Get ready for some news that hopefully has nothing to do with Vince for once. Please! It's Royal Rumble season, a time where rumors are swirling regarding potential surprise entrants, WrestleMania plans, etc., etc. Just all in all, it's usually an exciting time. However, that is unless you're a fan of a certain former WWE Smackdown Women's Champion who surprisingly, according to Fightful Select, would not be set to appear at the Royal Rumble whatsoever. The star in question is, of course, Rowdy Ronda Rousey, who despite being heavily featured for the majority of 2022 has been conspicuously absent from TV since losing her title in an impromptu match against the returning Charlotte Flair 3 weeks ago. Now, while many would assume that Rousey would be set to try and reclaim her title either through a rematch with Flair or via an entry into the Royal Rumble match itself, apparently that is not the case at all. Yes, according to Fightful, while Rousey was scheduled to appear at the Rumble as recently as last month, she will no longer be appearing in San Antonio. The decision reportedly was made around the time she lost her belt to Flair, and now leaves her plans leading into Mania 39 in doubt. If it was me, it would be Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus Damage Control. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Okay, so while Rousey may not be in line for an appearance at the Rumble, how about other big names we're expecting to see? Like, I don't know, The Rock? Well, despite WWE seemingly hinting at a return for the Great One by dropping new merch out of the blue, according to Dave Meltzer's latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, this decision is more related to the 30th anniversary of Raw than the Rumble. Dave would then elaborate further on Rock's Rumble status, saying, "We were told that unless he changes his mind in the next few days, since a deadline for Mania plans is coming, that he's indicated he won't have time to get into the kind of shape he feels he needs to be in to do a main event match with Roman Reigns, but kept the door open for something in the future." Despite this, Meltzer did say that WWE could potentially just be playing their hands close to their chest in terms of The Rock's return by keeping it a secret from everyone. Regardless, whatever The Rock appears or not, it seems WWE will still have more than a few surprises up their sleeves. Next Saturday night, Fightful are reporting that these rumored surprises may in fact be just a wee bit different to the norm, with WWE said to be considering more non-traditional surprises for this year's event. What does this mean exactly is unclear. Maybe, hopefully, some forbidden door entries. Please, Triple H, please. And lastly, while we were so close to making it to the end without some doom and gloom WWE news, it seems that sadly there may be some cuts coming behind the scenes at the company. Coming from Fightful Sean Ross Sapp via his Twitter, where WWE have confirmed to him that they are undergoing office cuts at this time. The extent of these cuts are unclear, and of course so is wherever they are in relation to the management changes in the company. It's important to mention that SRS did not mention that any talent-related cuts were also coming. Nevertheless, it's never news you like to see. Hopefully this isn't a sign of things to come. Now, I'm Saturday Niangi. See you next Saturday day. Hopefully same Saturday time.
On Saturdays, we wear black. I'm Tempest, and this is my review of SmackDown in about 5 minutes. We kick off SmackDown with the Bloodline's arrival, and while the Usos give Sami a warm welcome with handshakes and such, Roman refused a fist bump, leaving Sami looking forlorn. We then got our first match, that being the Viking Raiders versus the Banger Bros. This was exactly what I wanted out of this match when it was announced. Just a big ol' hoss fight. Parts of this match were completely surreal, like Drew McIntyre hitting Ivar with a Michinoku driver, and Michael Cole giving a special shout out to Jay Briscoe after his tragic passing this week. Very nice touch, well done WWE. Even with Valhalla's interference, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus were able to fight off the Vikings and get the win. Man, these guys losing to the Giants, it's a bad week for Vikings everywhere. This was a very fun match, with everyone pushing that Drew and Sheamus are great single stars, but can they work as a team? top stuff, 4 out of 5. Sami Zayn is in Roman's locker room, and Sami asks Roman if everything is cool. Roman tells Sami he saw the look on his face last week because Roman watches the show, and tells Sami to give it to him straight, and Sami says he was disappointed last week because he takes his role seriously and wants to carry his weight, and didn't know the Usos were coming out, and Kevin keeps telling him that he's being used. Roman thinks and tells Sami to get out. Roman asks when he started needing to run his plans by Sami, and again tells him to get out. Expert manipulation from Roman on this show. Shout out to Paul Heyman's acting in the background. Superb segment. Raquel Rodriguez announces her entry into the Royal Rumble with another horribly scripted promo. Lord, she is not good at this. LA Knight comes out for a promo and says that Bray Wyatt should have kept living check to check on his past glory, and at the Royal Rumble, Bray will find out those checks aren't worth squat. Knight then faces a local competitor, and the screen freaks out with the Wyatt logo, but Knight doesn't let it affect the match too much, hitting the BFT for the win. Then afterwards, we got the return of the Firefly Funhouse. F***ing alright then. Bray laughs with the old puppets and tells Knight that he's the one that opened the door and he is the one that is responsible for what comes through it. So I guess we have old Bray again. Does the Fiend show up next? Who's to say with this storyline? I'm not giving this one a rating because I really have no idea what to make of it. It's just interesting. Hit Row then took on Los Lotharios in another tournament match, and this was very curious indeed. Michael Cole was making fun of Top Dollar trying to dive over the top rope a few weeks ago, and Top Dollar went and shouted at him to keep running his mouth. Los Lotharios then hit a dive, but as they got back in the ring, B-Fab grabbed Humberto's leg, and Ashanti rolled him up for the win. Then, if you needed more confirmation, Top Dollar tore up a fan sign at ringside, so indeed, Hit Row are now heels. The match itself was nothing, but I figured some of these would have to be if you're gonna do 4 tournament matches on one show. 2 out of 5. Braun Strowman declares for the Royal Rumble, and then Charlotte Flair makes her way out for a promo. She calls out Sonya Deville, who eventually comes out and says Charlotte is entitled and arrogant, and no one sees that when Sonya steps through the curtain, she is a star. Charlotte says she knows Sonya is a star, but wonders what Sonya thinks makes her so special that she can jump to the front of the line. She offers to fight Sonya, but Sonya declines unless the title's on the line, and Adam Pearce tries to put a stop to all this, but Sonya hits Charlotte from behind and runs. This was fine, solid enough. They'll do another title match undoubtedly, and it will be fine too. 3 out of 5. Hope you like this women's segment, because it's the only one you're getting tonight. Roman Reigns is getting counsel from his wise man, and Heyman says he never liked Sami, but with the Royal Rumble coming and Roman defending the title against Kevin Owens of all people, wouldn't it be better to have Sami inside the castle pissing out than outside the castle pissing in? I love, love, love seeing all the different characters in this story expressing their own completely unique perspectives. We don't get to hear Paul Heyman's feelings often enough, and this was an excellent look into his standpoint with the bloodline. Lacey Evans uses the Cobra Clutch, and I couldn't care less. Get fuck off. The Brawling Brutes then took on Imperium in another tournament match, reigniting that rivalry from last fall. This was another fairly short match. They had a lot to get through on SmackDown this week. This one was interesting at a point when Giovanni Vinci hit a double springboard moonsault. That was neat. But shortly thereafter, Butch got hit with a brain buster on the floor, and Ridge Holland got hit with the Imperium Bomb for the win. Solid enough match, just, again, wasn't very long. 3 out of 5. Paul Heyman tells Sami that Roman wants to speak with him, and Shayna Baszler declares for the Royal Rumble. Then, Legado del Fantasma took on Maximum Male Models in the final first-round match in this tournament, and yeah, there wasn't much to see here. Zelina Vega announces she is in the Royal Rumble while on commentary, and Legado won with their Inzaguri side Russian leg sweep combo. 2 out of 5. Sami Zayn goes to see Roman Reigns, and Roman apologizes for lashing out earlier, saying all Sami wants is good communication. Most important part of any relationship, honestly. Sami immediately perks up and says he will always put the bloodline first, and anything Roman ever needs, he just has to ask. Roman tells Sami to get the Usos and their SUVs prepped so they can cut right after the contract signing. Sami says he's got it and offers Roman a fist bump, and this time, Roman accepts. Sami walks off, and Heyman thanks Roman. The layers upon layers to this storyline. It's like a lovely ogre. These segments have been the best thing on this show. Yeah, I know, the bloodline's great. Shocker. Roman Reigns then comes out for his contract signing, and he settles in, puts his feet up, and rather than coming down the ramp for a civil contract signing like we normally see in wrestling, Kevin Owens ran through the crowd, attacking Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns. The Usos try to make the save, but KO takes them out too and puts Roman through a table with the pop-up powerbomb. He grabs the contract from Heyman and signs it, just in time for Sami to run down. I can already see Roman asking Sami where he was, and Sami nervously explaining that he was only doing what Roman asked for. Ooh, the story is so good. I'm looking forward to segments I haven't even seen yet. This was a very short main event segment, but even still, it gets a 4 out of 5. And that wraps up SmackDown. Once again, as has been the case with the show recently, the opening bit was really good, the closing bit was really good, but outside of the Bloodline backstage bit, SmackDown is a bit of a slog to get through. A lot of short matches on this show, not a lot of heat for them. Also, not even a thought of a women's match on this show. Take that for what you will. This SmackDown gets a 3 out of 5. And that just about wraps things up for me. Make sure you check out Sat and I on the SmackDown Review podcast today, and we will see you next time. I'm Tempest, and the Minnesota Vikings suck.
We all love the Rumble, right? The one last year. They were bad. And while we won't know how good this one's going to turn out to be, it does at least look on